Hello and welcome back to Media and More with the Mediocre Modeler. As you can see, I'm not alone. I'm with my buddy John Van Gosting, John1 from Interfleet Broadcasting. And how are you doing tonight, John?
Very good, Mio Maga. I'm happy to be on your show, and I'm ready to have some fun.
Oh, see, you say that now.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, so we're both on IFB on occasion. John has a segment on IFB. So what's your given title and what do you do, like your segment on IFB?
Oh, I report the news. I'm on the John 1, so I report the news, upcoming events. I book a lot of the guests that come on our show. So I reach out to them, see if they want to come on to us, talk with them, and they come on, and we have a pretty good time. So
I'll tell you what, some of the guests that you've been getting lately you've been knocking it out of the park. It's been some really, really good shows, man. So, okay. We also both worked on, you were actually there for the filming of The Stranded Warrior.
yes,
So I really wanted to be there. And then you were there for the Tower Protocol, right?
of course. Yep.
So were you just kind of the gopher, the runner, just kind of keeping everybody in track and everything?
Yeah, I was kind of like the production assistant. I made sure people signed their paperwork. I made sure people had to be where they had to be. I like doing behind the scenes. I like setting stuff up. I like doing the logistics. I don't want to break the camera when I'm in front of people. I like to
You're
stand in back and
fine.
do the needed stuff and help Pete and Chris. And I enjoy doing it, help with the camera work. We need to help hold the camera or hold the boom, whatever. And we set up people, get the paperwork signed up, get them where they need to be, order the meals, do all the stuff, move all the stuff around. So I'm happy to help. So
Okay. Well, you know
yeah.
what? At some point I would like to be there too, and I'll be right there next to you. And we'll get the job done. So, but on a personal level, one of the things you're into comics. You're a comic guy, all right? And so the thing I like about there's always that we're in an era where comic books are transitioning over into movies and TV shows and stuff like that. And so for me, I was not a comic book reader. And when I see a story, I don't know how different it is from what the comic story is. And so I want to talk a little bit about Daredevil. Because okay, so for me, like The Last of Us, I played the video game The Last of Us, so
Mhm.
I'm going in knowing beat for beat what that storyline is. Okay, and so I don't get that with the comic book movies, and I'm assuming that since you are into the comics, you do get that feel, right? I mean, okay,
Definitely.
so for Daredevil, how closely is at first the series, and then we'll talk about this season. But how close is the series running to the Daredevil storyline for you?
The series that was on Netflix before Disney took over, that
Uh,
series, the
the,
first three, or
the one that's currently now running on
they were
Disney.
very, very close to it. It's got some grit. It's not being whitewashed, not being Disneyized. It's really the stuff that I like. There's fighting, there's action, there's good storyline, there's good actors. Some of the scenes, like the characters, being knocked off in the first episode, wasn't happy about it. But it's getting
Uh,
very, very good,
so
like the comics. So I'm not
okay,
gonna say who it was, but it's like the comics. This next season, which is going to be, they actually renewed it for March 2026. I think will be take place at the Devil's Reign. Devil's Reign was a big storyline in Daredevil a couple months ago, so it's going to be just like the TV, just like the
okay,
comic.
okay. So I'm going to put the spoiler alert out there right now, okay? Because either you're watching the show or you're not. If you haven't watched it, then stop right now because we're going to talk a little bit about Daredevil. So,
It might be a rant.
right. Well, okay. And I encourage you to rant away because this is all really information that I need to know what your perspective is. Because so for me, first episode of this season, first 10 minutes, they kill Foggy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute. All right. And so I'm going to assume that the comic followers were in an uproar over that.
Yeah, because they promised the whole all the original cast in the original series, the 3 series that was on Netflix before it came to Disney, which was really good, by the way. They said that all the cast is coming. So when we're seeing it, we'll see Foggy, they're drinking their hub celebration, and like, oh, what's going on? And then you see him, and you're like, what happened? He's gone. The other one that gone, the redhead girl, True Blood, what's her name? Deborah Ann Karen Page. She left too.
Oh, right.
So Froggy and Karen were gone, and there was a two. And like, what's going on here? He's by himself. So I was a little annoyed by that.
Yeah, but I figured Karen would come back.
And she did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she came back for like 5 minutes in a middle episode, and then at the very last episode, she came back. But okay. So here's my question for you. The way they're presenting it, the whole reason for him to go on this journey to be Daredevil again after, catching the guy, was Foggy's death, right?
Yes.
So how do they handle it in the comic? What is the tipping point in the comic that makes him go down this path? If not for Foggy, I mean, what if Foggy's alive? What else is putting him down this path?
Oh, just the way he was brought up. He's a lawyer. I mean, his father was killed. He wanted to get, it was like a justice thing. He was blinded by chemicals. He just wanted that. When he became a Daredevil was because he wanted to see justice he wasn't getting it. So when he got blinded when he was a kid, he did his scales, his senses. He became Daredevil. But when Foggy died, he gave up on it. He didn't want to do it. But it eventually happened that he defended the white tiger. And now that guy was a comic book too. He was, and they did a very good season with that episode because he men that played him passed away in real life from cancer.
Oh, okay.
So that's why they did a memorial.
Was there a series, a Netflix series of White Tiger?
No,
he's just the comics. Okay.
No, the comics, yeah. So there was a lot of Easter eggs in Daredevil too.
So basically, everything killing off Foggy was unnecessary because we still would have got the White Tiger angle. He still would have done everything he did for White Tiger. So it was really unnecessary for them to kill Foggy off.
Yeah, it was because a lot of the fans liked the chemistry between those three.
It's fantastic.
I mean, I know why but then they said the idea of killing off Foggy was the main character. And the guy that played Daredevil wanted to do that.
I think the problem. I liked Foggy because once Foggy found out who he was, Foggy kind of became his moral compass.
Yes.
And so now he doesn't. Okay, so the gal that's playing the psychiatrist, is she someone from the comic book, or is she a made up character for the series?
I'm not that sure. I think she's a made up character.
Yeah, then she can go. So okay, I just wanted a little bit more clarification because at the end of the day, I really do like the show. I like the action and everything. It doesn't get too deep into the hows and whys. I mean,
no, it's made by someone who knows their comic stuff. I mean, someone, that's the difference between a show. We've said it before. If you're a fan, you know what you're doing. You're gonna make a great show. Fans are gonna like it. If you don't, you're gonna walk out. Like I walked out of the first Spider-Man movie. I was like, I can't watch this. I walked out.
Which the first?
The first one, yep.
Really?
I wasn't very happy about it.
Okay, so X amount of years down the road, how do you feel?
I watched it again when I was coming down. Like I kind of liked it, and then when they had Spider-Man Nowhere Home, and they also had Spider-Man together, then I liked it more. So
okay, so No Way Home. So I don't like pre-look into previews. I just go in dry, so I had no idea that was going to happen. So that was fantastic.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, wow.
I'm like, okay, I need more of that. So, and the jokes were spot on. So, okay, all right. Where do we sit on? There's something else that I want to have a conversation about in the future because you and I don't always see eye to eye. I think, like, were you a Rogue One fan?
Yes, I was.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
that was it.
That was I was kind of skeptical on it. I was like, oh boy, it's gonna be like a like the new generation, the new era of Star Wars, like J.J. Abrams. I'm like, no. But then I watched it, and I was like, ooh.
Really? I just
I was.
didn't get that. Okay, so like I said, there are some other things that you and I are going to have a conversation about, where we'll be on the other opposite sides of the fence. But the thing that we're here for tonight is we're going to look at our top. Well, it was supposed to be top tens. John did his portion of the thing right. I did not. So it was going to be the top 10 sci-fi ships, and we broke it down into 4 different categories. Our favorite tops. So the 4 categories are capital ships, medium-sized ships, fighters, and then transports and shuttles. And then the follow-ups are warts and all, which is the ship that you love regardless of its practicality. The albatross, the ship that you hate and which never existed, and then the traveler, which is the ship that you would love to live on and travel the universe. So, John, the reason this came about was John they have a guest on IFB, Bert Oliver Boomer, and he's got a segment called Bert's Battle Briefing. And he was going through and he was talking about iconic science fiction ships. And I had made the comment that we should do a show about like the top favorite sci-fi ships. And I thought John was going to be on because I was ready to go toe to toe with John, and it just didn't happen that way. But he made his list out, so I really want to see what's on his list compared to what's on my list. So you're the guest. We're going to start with capital ships, and let's start with okay. Okay. Give me your. We're gonna since you did 10. Give me 10 to 6, and then when you get to 5, give me your 5, and then I'll give you my 5.
Okay. So 10 to
So
6. Read all 10 of them, or just 5?
well, what's your number? So capital ships. What's your number 10?
Number 10 is Oh, where is it? Can't read my handwriting here.
I put a form and everything. Well, I typed out my form.
The John F. Kennedy space carrier from Space Above and Beyond.
Okay. Okay. Oh, so okay. I wasn't. You guys introduced me to Space Above and Beyond, so at the time I wasn't ready for it, but I watched it, and yeah, okay, I can see that. So what's your number 9?
Number 9 is it's a Klingon bird of prey.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. 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 Well, see, I don't. I guess the Klingon. Okay, Klingons. They've got a lot to offer. They got cloaking devices. They're destructive. They're very maneuverable. Okay, I can see that. So, what's your number 8?
Number 8 is my Draconian flagship from Buck
Dracona.
Rogers.
Oh, that high up. I think Tipsy had that like number 2 or number 1. I mean, it was it was in his top 5. I thought that's a good ship. That for Buck Rogers, I would love to see them redo Buck Rogers, some of the special effects, because it would be. We didn't really get to see a whole lot of. Did we ever see the Draconian ship even fire on anything?
No, we saw the fighters, the Draconian fighters, when they were fighting them, but they just looked like little Draconian ships.
So the only thing they had was that crystal. Remember that the crystal thing, and they it was like hovering over Earth, and they were shooting down. That's That's the only weapon that they ever showed see, that's such a waste.
I've never seen it fire. So that was a beautiful ship. I mean, I love the Draconians. The movie what came out, like, oh wow.
Well,
But
so did you watch it in the theater?
no.
Okay.
I don't know. Wait, it did come out in the theater. The first,
It
yeah,
did.
I did see that.
Yeah, it did.
Yep. Because I remember seeing Dance with the Draconian Girl. I was like, oh,
oh, that's right. That the very beginning. Yeah. Okay. So that was your number 8. What's your number 7?
my number 7 is my handwriting is Pegasus from Battlestar Galactica.
Pegasus? Okay. Okay. The original series Pegasus or the new version?
The original one with Commander Kane, but I did like the new image one with that Kane, with the female Kane. That was
right.
Pretty badass. I like that. I like that series.
Okay, so the one that was just her. It was about her and her Cylon companion.
Yeah.
What? I need to rewatch that. Okay, but the question is, it begs the question, since it's from the original series, the Pegasus is the same as the Galactica.
Yes, but I like them both.
Okay. Pegasus / Galactica. Okay.
Well, my list, I put Pegasus. I didn't put the Galactor in there.
It's not on there at all. Well, it isn't. Well, okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry.
I like Pegasus because I thought I like the commander. They were tough asses, so I'll go serve for them. Even though we're gonna crash into a base silence stuff, and we survived. Kane survived. It just didn't.
See, that's another conversation. I don't know what the love is for Kane is. I just can't do it, dude. He's so arrogant. He's just like, oh man. Okay. So that's 2 shows we got. So what's your number 6?
Number 6 is Moya from Farscape.
Okay. Good choice.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have a problem living on a ship that's alive?
No, I don't think I would. I'd be like, I say, okay, we're gonna go to, and she's gonna talk to me and stuff like that. As long as she gives me my privacy when I need my privacy, that's fine.
Well, okay. It was Moya was the ship, and then you had the symbiont that like piloted her into, was it Pilot? They call it Pilot.
Yeah. Little puppet thing.
Yeah, so that was really ooh. So I think when you're talking about living ships, the other living ship that comes to mind is Lex.
Yes.
Right. So if I had my choice, I'll take Moya over Lex any day. Any day.
Yeah, I think I would too, because Lex is kind of annoying.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah. Okay. So we're down to our top 5. Okay, so what's your number 5? Your number 5.
Number 5 is the Hatak Stargate from Stargate. The Hatak battleship.
Okay.
That's the big ship with the pyramid on it.
You know what? I'm finding out. I can tell you right. I'm finding out right now. I'm a sci-fi ship snob. Because if it doesn't look like it could fly properly, I don't really like any of the ships from Stargate. They don't resonate with me. And I don't know why. But I mean, so does it have weapons?
Yeah, it's a big fighting ship. It's like one of their battleships. It looked pretty cool. I like that. So a couple updates on that one. I like that ship. So
well, okay, I'll have to look it up. I'll look it up and I'll put a picture up right here. That way you guys can see and you can call me crazy. So my number 5 is the alien Sulaco.
Okay.
Okay, and so I think that's another situation, kind of like the Draconian ship. Mm-hmm. We never got to see it in battle, and I think the Sulaco would probably be a badass. It looks like a gun in space, for the lack of a better term. So I mean, and all the remakes and everything that they've had with aliens, I guess they would have to have a movie, a Colonial Marines movie, I guess, is what they would need. Because
I
we
wish
got
they
all the
would.
other weaponry.
Yeah. I wish they would have bring back those Marines. That was a great. That was the best one so far with the Marines. So
The aliens, the second one.
yeah,
Yeah.
they should bring them. Yeah,
So
newness like that.
and what's sad to see is I think I saw a picture of like Gas Vasquez and the lieutenant together like on the internet and just like, oh my God, they're old. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I felt old ever since I saw it. Like, oh man, I saw a con. I was like, oh my God.
oh, did you?
I
Oh
was like, I'm
man.
really old.
You're just like, no, you can't be that old.
Man.
So what is your number 4?
My number 4 is Millennium Falcon.
For a capital ship?
Oh, sorry. Star Destroyer.
Oh,
Sorry, one.
same universe. Same universe. Okay. So my just your standard Star Destroyer, like from the beginning of A New Hope.
It was yes, Vader's from Return of
Okay.
the
Empire Strikes Back?
Yes.
Okay. Well, my number 4 also is a Star Destroyer, but it's the Republic Star Destroyer from Clone Wars. It's the one that has the two
The Venator.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if you knew. But yeah, I really like that ship. I like the way the center opens up and you launch out of the center instead of the sides. I mean, it's not quite as big as the with the executor class or whatever Vader. It's like maneuverable.
I picked that one too, but I put that as a mid-size compared to the Imperial Star.
Oh, okay. Well, you should just shut up. We'll get there. Just like you act like this is your show or something. Okay, so what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Sulaco.
Oh, okay. So looks like we're okay. I got you. Okay, so my number 3 is the Andromeda Ascendant.
Oh, okay.
Series, right? I always liked that ship. It looked like a wolf, the nose of it and everything. So, and it was very maneuverable. And you did actually get to see it. The main thing I liked about the Andromeda Ascendant, and they showed it, you could basically fly that ship with like 7 people.
Yeah.
So that'd be you, me, Pete, Chris, Tiny Bean. we need 2 more.
Bert
and Bert. Oh, absolutely, Bert.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, he would gladly jump. He could be our engineer. So okay, so number 2.
The UNSC Infinity from Halo.
I don't know that one.
It's the game. It was a really cool ship.
So from what I've heard about Halo, it's like, isn't it like huge?
Yes, I based all my ships on destruction I can do on my enemies.
Well, I guess. Then your number 2 could probably beat my number 2 because my number 2 is the Enterprise, the Star Trek Enterprise E. And so I mean, the D. The D was a science in a family ship, which from episode 1, it's just like, yeah, family. You're out here, you don't know what you're going to run into. You really shouldn't have your family out here. This is, But once they decided, they have to fight the Borg and all this good mess, it got serious, and that ship shows it. I really do like the E. So capital ships, your number 1.
I was torn my number 1 between Enterprise and Voyager. I was really torn which one I wanted to do. I wanted to go out, and if I had to fight, I had to fight. If I had to do a lot of humanitarian things, I still have strong enough to protect myself. If I wanted to go against Romulans, and then again, I was thinking about the Romulan ship too, but I have to say Voyager.
So which version of the Enterprise?
Voyager.
Oh, you wanted the Voyager. That
It was,
okay. So
it was a whole different ship at the time when the series came out. I really liked it the way it was and had the different engines in it and the power and it could do things. So I'm like, okay. And then I got to see it in the Picard series. I was like, oh, so I always like the
see,
Voyager.
okay. In what season did okay? So I watched Picard season 1,
Mm-hmm.
and I watched the preview for season 2, and I haven't gone back because
I think
everyone
it
told me
was
that
sort of,
season 2 was
no, I like season 2. Season 3 was the one when I think that was when 7 and 9 was looking at when they went to the ship docking and she was talking about the Voyager and it was still in dock. All the ships they were picking from. That was I worked on it and they showed all the ships in dock, the old ships.
really.
Yeah.
So okay, so is it worth it? So should I suffer through season 2 to get to season 3?
You can go to season 3 and just like
Just don't even worry about season 2.
I just add on to that. It's okay. You probably meant it that way. I just my own. Like,
Okay.
season
Hey,
3.
I wouldn't ask the question if I wasn't gonna. Okay. Yeah. I'm kind of a completist. I'll probably have to suffer through it, but
I think 3 is like it's just an homage to the next generation. So it was a masterpiece. It was good.
okay. Okay. Well, because I've seen pictures of all of them older, and it's great to see them back together. Um, but I really wasn't happy with once Picard became an android or whatever, and it's just like,
Yeah, I'm like,
what are we doing here?
I thought
So
they couldn't do that technology anymore after Data because everything was destroyed. So how could they make him an android again? I was like, well, we can do this for you. I'm like, well, I don't know about that. I thought that technology was gone, but whatever. That was a storyline.
yeah, right. And just like, okay.
I'm not a purist or anything.
And then I I can't remember what season 2 was about. I think they were gonna. I can't remember if they were gonna delve into the Borg or whatever. But whatever it was just like I just don't want to do that. So I just kind of walked away from it. So okay. So
I had
it's
a similar feeling like a third episode of the second season. Like,
it should your sci-fi should not feel like a trudge. It
no,
should
you should
feel
be
like it
enjoying
should
it
not
every
feel like
second you
work.
watch. Yeah. It should be like you're on your seat enjoying it. Like, oh, I really like this. My show's on. All right. And then fall asleep, rewinding it to see what you missed.
Right. You get falling asleep and just like, oh well.
I
Next.
get back to it.
What's the other like there are some other shows that I just refuse to watch, like the Orville. I it's not everyone goes, it's like they're realistic Star Trek, and they cuss and blah, blah. It's just like, you know what, I'm okay with my without my sci-fi people cussing. I'm okay with that. I hear enough of that during the day. I don't
I
need
don't
it.
watch it either.
Really?
Yeah, I don't watch it either. I watch one episode.
Oh,
I just don't
okay.
seem to get into it. I just don't seem to get into it.
You and I. Okay, let's go to our mid-size ships. So let's give me your 10 to 6.
Okay. My 10 to 6?
Yes.
That's number 6, right?
Yeah, start with 10 on your mid-size ship.
Okay. It was the Terminus CKS Republic. The Terminus class of the Old Republic. The Sith ship is from the game. It's a Sith actually have like an old destroyer. It's like a looks like a Star Destroyer. It's a different ship. It's from the Old Republic.
Oh, okay. And was it in a comic or
video game and a book? Yeah, the Old Republic. I think it's in the video games.
I don't think I didn't play the Old Republic. You know what? There were some cool ships in some of the Star Wars video games.
Mhm.
I'll have to look that one up, and I'll put a picture of it right there. Okay, what's your number 9?
Number 9 is my O'Neill class destroyer from SGI.
SGI?
Yeah, Stargate.
Oh, okay.
You know this ship from Stargate, the first episode, Excalibur, or what was that one? Not Excalibur, it was Camelot. They see the old black destroyer. It was like a ship that they use in the Stargate. It's pretty cool looking ship.
And this is from the regular Stargate TV series.
Yep.
See, I didn't watch that one either. I wasn't I that's one of those movies that just didn't capture. I didn't like the original Stargate movie, and so it just never resonated with me. Although I did watch Stargate Universe, which I did like.
I like
So
Universe. I like Atlantis. Atlantis was kind of weird for me, but I kind of like Atlantis a little more.
oh, there was an Atlantis one. So wasn't Claudia? Didn't Claudia Black show up on one of them?
Oh, I'm not that sure.
I think she showed up on one of them, and that kind of because at one point, didn't Ben Browder and Claudia Black both show up
Oh, Stargate.
On Stargate, and I was just like, oh, that might be worth because I knew him from Farscape, and I was just like,
Yeah.
maybe not. Okay, all right. So that was your nine. So we're on your eight, mid-size, number eight.
This guys is the Jem'Hadar fighter. Might be a mission ship. Yeah. So the Jem'Hadar.
Isn't that the one that
Gem.
kind of looks like the Beetle? Kind of like it. It's got okay.
Put
See,
that one down.
I didn't look at any bad guy ships. But no, I was watching DS9 and some of the episodes where they were getting ready to, excuse me, they were getting ready to they were getting ready to take over, um, uh, they were going into battle, and it was just a bunch of them, and yeah, the sky was just filthy with Jem'Hadar. The Jem'Hadar as a character were awesome.
Yes, I like them a lot.
So I mean,
I think that DS9 is my favorite of the series. Just because
really,
the act, it was just acting that the tough scenes between the actors with the Cardassians and the Bajorans. There was a lot of tough, like when the guy was pretending he was a war criminal, but he wasn't, and very good. I enjoyed that a lot. I enjoyed the character. Cisco was great.
Yes, I think so. I was talking to my buddy Stuart. We're having the same conversation, and one of the best episodes. I will stop and watch it every single time it's on. Was the one where Worf was being on trial by the Klingon lawyer, and I mean, just like the whole thing was good, but at the very end, when Worf was like, "Hey, I guess I messed up," and Cisco just lays into him, "You're damn right, you messed up." You're right. The acting, over the top, over the top.
And John Calicos, when he saved Worf's life, and he's like for the Empire, and he went to fight the Jem'Hadar, and that's how he died. The old Klingon, John Calicos played the King.
They did a really good job of honoring some of those old, bringing them in and giving them some really great deaths.
Yes.
So I'm trying to decide. See, I'm trying to decide if DS9 is my favorite. It's. I think they have all a lot to offer. I mean, like Next Gen is good after season. Once you get to the Borg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Next Gen is pretty good. Once you get past season 1 of DS9, it's good. Actually, once you get past season 1, once Kess dies, I think in Voyager it gets really good. Unfortunately. So I mean, she was a throwaway character. She was kind of useless. That whole thing between her and what's his name?
Oh,
anyway.
Felix or Phoenix.
Felix. Just like, why? So, anyway, where were we? We were on 7.
Number 6, right? We're on number 6.
Did you do
6 is my Venator starter.
Okay. What was your 7?
The Jem'Hadar ship.
Oh, Jem'Hadar. Okay. So 6. Okay. So what's your number 5?
What did I put down? Did I put down Sulaco before? Did I say Sulaco already?
You didn't. You said it was
Sulaco.
Okay. So yeah, so we got ours kind of crisp because I've got the Sulaco is in as a capital ship. So
yeah, I put that on that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, well, you're talking about Halo ships, which are mega big. So compared to that, yeah, it could be a mid-sized ship. So my number five for the mid-sized ship was the Rocinante from The Expanse. The
Oh,
Rossi, yeah,
yeah.
I I love that ship. It's very well armored. It's very maneuverable. It can even land. And but what I guess what I don't like about it is like the way they have to fly it, or like because don't they have to juice or something to go into? I don't necessarily like that portion of it, but everything else is just like just it's and it's they do it more sometimes more vertical than they do horizontal. The way they have to go through it. So
Oh, I'm looking at it. I'm trying to figure that one out. Okay, I understand. Yeah. That's a tough pick. That would have
yeah.
got me on that pick too. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That is
So
pretty-
what's your number four?
My number four is the G-Force from Phoenix.
Okay.
Phoenix, medium ship, a small crew. It still has that firepower, and that's good.
Okay.
You know, it's like
The
Phoenix Force.
You mean G-Force,
Yeah,
activate those guys.
yeah. Turn into the Phoenix.
Yeah, the
That was
Fiery Phoenix.
I love that series.
That you know, do you think I, I'm trying to decide if they could do that as a live action without it being goofy.
Oh, well, yeah. I guess
Without it turning into Power Rangers, because I mean, Power Rangers is its thing. It has its place. Let it be. That show is so good. I mean, just even.
yeah, it was sad too, and it was fighting and stuff. The action in it, I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed Spectrum.
Yeah, there was one episode like in the intro, it had that big monster that had like these vacuum hands or whatever. There was one monster or villain or ship or something you see in the very intro that you never saw in the series.
Hmm.
And I really wish they'd have done more with that. Okay, so my
There's even comics out now too. Gotcha, man.
got
Speaking of comics out now too. There's a brand new comic. Collectors out there. A couple other people. A couple other comics from Man Cave.
see I wish I could get the same feel in watching comics as I reading comics as I do watching videos. I feel like I don't have the imagination to
Oh,
bring the comic to life like a video does.
wow.
So
I,
I don't have it.
I like reading them and I like the collecting point of them too. Like certain covers, I'll go and I'll look at different. I go out of town at different comic books. I'm like, oh, I know this cover, and people don't know the covers are worth a lot of money. So I'm like, oh, I'll grab this and get a buy, and I'll sell the cover. I'll save the cover because it's worth a lot of money. I get it graded and I save it.
Grading, that's a whole nother animal.
My retirement.
I think that the thing with grading is it makes collecting is always already one of those things where people think that just because they have like with Star Wars action figures, well, I have tons of Star Wars action figures, so I'm sitting on a gold mine. No, you're really not.
No.
And I think grading only feeds that misinformation that you may be sitting on a gold mine, but hey,
I do it for the fun of it to see how much it's worth, and I'm just like, okay, 9.9, okay, fine. But I still like the comic. I still like the collecting it. I still like to talk about it. I still like to have a nice collection, and I've been collecting
so
so.
so when you're picking your comic, are you so would the thing be that you would like when you're going through the comics on the stand, trying to find the best one, no bent corners, blah blah blah, and getting it bagged and boarded, and then having it graded from that point?
Yeah,
Like right after you bought it from the store, you get it graded, you put it back in the bag, and then you don't touch it again.
don't touch it again. Well, I'll buy like two of them. Like if it's a really good, cool cover that I think the cover is going to sell, because you look at covers and you're like, oh, this was a famous cover. This is a really cool cover. They go by that. A brand new character introduced, a brand new villain just got in the first seeing of him, like comics like Spider-Man, the first seeing of the Punisher.
Mm.
those comics are a little bit worth a lot of money, but if they're perfect condition, and there's a 9.9, they're worth a couple $100 if you want to sell it.
Yeah, but but grading has been around, compared to the time that comics have been around, grading has been around a very short amount of time, though.
Very short amount of time. Yeah.
So it would be hard to find like a 9.9 for a Spider-Man #1.
Yeah, very hard. I mean, sometimes they found a Action Comics #1 in a West Virginia attic, and it's I guess the weather up there, the climate, that thing's over $1 million.
Oh, dang. See, and that right there, that's exactly my point. That right there is people are going to be running to their attic. I got comics up in the attic, and they're going to be, I got $1 million up here somewhere. Like, no, they made 50 million of that comic. No, sorry, dude.
Even like cards, when you're a young kid, you get cards like, oh, these monsters, these cards you don't think they're not sports cards, so whatever. You put them in your bike spokes and make it
right.
And then when you look like you go to a card show, like.
So okay, those aren't the cards that we used. If we used the card, we probably stole like the Joker out of a deck. Again, that still kind of ruins the deck because now you're short the Joker, but whatever.
Okay, we use baseball cards, so like
I'm not a baseball fan, so. Well, and that being the case, I would use a baseball. I'm not a baseball. I don't know who this guy is. Babe Ruth, whatever. Click. So, where were we? We were at my number 4. I think. Did you give your number 4? I think we're on number 4.
Heavy Star Fury from Babylon 5.
Oh, okay, yeah. Is that the 2-seater one?
Yeah.
The big long. Okay, so my midsize number 4 is the Razor Crest. Oh. The Mandalorian.
Yes.
When I first saw that ship, I did not like it. I was just like, what are we doing here? I'm like, come on, And then and it kept getting beat up, and he patch it back together and it'd go on. And I think the one that got me to really, really be in love with that ship was, I guess it was the episode where he was trying to deliver the lady with the frog lady or whatever, and they crashed on the snow planet. Was that the one?
Yeah. Snow planet.
And they were being chased by the X-Wings, and he was just doing all this crazy. That's when I'm like, okay, that ship is something special. So I like, that's where I fell in love with the Razor Crest. So what is your number 3?
You say that. Why was it Slave 1? Boba Fett ship.
Okay. Is that your number 3? Or are you asking me why it wasn't?
That's my number 3.
You're okay. Okay.
I guess you never really got to see into it. Looked small, but it was a medium-sized ship.
No, I agree. I could never get over the way the Slave 1 flew.
Wise, right? When you zoop.
Yeah.
It looks like a giant iron.
Yeah, well. Yes, it does. Yes. But thank you, because I'm never gonna not be able to see that now.
That's what I'm here for, everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So my number 3 mid-sized ship. What's your number 3?
Oh, that was it. That was Slave 1.
Oh, Slave 1. Oh, that's right. Okay. So my number 3 is the Defiant, Star Trek Defiant.
Oh,
I love that little ship. It went through a lot, especially in the opening scenes of was it First Contact, mm-hmm. And just prepare for ramming speeds, and he was just ready to give it up, and they salvaged her, and I'm just like, that it almost made it as my ship to live on and travel the galaxy. Because it's not too big, not too small, So, what is your number 2?
Serenity from Firefly.
Okay. My number 2 is Serenity from Firefly.
It is. We're starting to think alike.
Okay, so one of the reasons, let me check my number 1. Okay. The one of the main reasons I didn't make it my number one is because it doesn't have any weapons. It can't defend itself. That's the only reason it wasn't my number one. Well, yeah, I mean that's pretty close to the main reason. So
That's why that I can defend myself and do other stuff with it too. So
okay, so what's your number one?
Klingon D7 class battlecruiser from the original series. Remember the old Klingons? They come out. They had the long neck and the round thing.
Yeah,
Before the bird of praise.
right.
I just liked it.
I don't get it, man.
I
I just can't do bad guy ships. I can't. There's okay. So my number one is the Millennium Falcon for midsize ship.
Well, it's hard to put the Millennium Falcon in there because it was a freighter. It's a cargo ship really because it has like all the stuff there. So I was a little weird to put that in there.
Well, so okay, so fair open disclosure. Originally, it was only 3 categories, and it was we had to add the mid-size ships because exactly what you just said. Where do you put the Millennium Falcon? Do you put it in a mid-size ship? Do you put so? Is it a freighter? Absolutely. So we had mid-size. What is it? Transport shuttle, and I would have put it in that category, but there were just so many other ships. That's why we had to break it out into mid-size. And even at this, we could break this down into other categories like only terrestrial ships, ships that can't leave atmosphere. only land vehicles. There's just so many different other categories we could break it down to. So, but we had to draw a line somewhere. So, okay. So, do you want to do fighters or transports next?
How about fighters?
Okay. So, give me your 10 to 6 fighters. Number 10.
Number 10 is TIE Fighter.
You and the bad guy ships. What is it? I don't get it. Well, okay. Okay.
I disclose that we are a Imperial family, so we support the Empire. So
Oh my goodness.
We want to write letters to Dave Filoni and say it's about time we have a Star Wars Empire side story. Not like I'm an Empire soldier, I'm going to change. No, I want
you want an Imperial that's there for being an Imperial.
Yes, I want a Moff Gideon story. I want
okay. No, I do that
story. The commander that was his friend, and Vader found out that he was like fighting for his family, and so Vader let him retire. That's how the comic book story. There's so many stories at the Empire side that they're not doing. So
didn't they do or aren't they doing the Tales of the Empire?
They did that one. Tales of the Empire. There was two characters joining the Empire, and then the animated one. But next month is another one coming out.
Oh yeah,
and Cad Bane. And then dude, that's gonna be great.
I did the
Cad Bane series too. How come we don't get a Cad Bane series? That would be great.
Okay, again with the bad guys, man. You're killing me. I don't think a bad guy deserves a whole. Well, I guess it. Yeah. I would watch it. I would totally watch it. I wouldn't like it because. Okay, don't you feel like whenever they try and make a series out of a bad guy, they try and make the bad guy sympathetic?
Yes, and I don't like that. They shouldn't do that.
And yeah, absolutely. So, how far do you think it would go if the bad guy is a bad guy all the time? I mean, would it make it more than a season? Well, okay.
If it's good story writing and stuff like Cad Bane, you surprised you did that, like, oh, help me, and Cad goes bam. Yeah, people like that's good. Yeah.
What happened to you?
I think it'll go like 2 or 3 seasons. He's bounty hunting, he's fighting other people. It's
okay. I'll give you that. And Ventress, I think Ventress is a great character. I think I I would watch a whole series of just her because just the snippets that we've had with her story in it. You talk about someone who was just pooped on the whole series. It would be her. Every time she tried to get behind something, it just never went her way. So I think she would be a great character to follow. Okay, so TIE Fighter number 10. Okay, number 9.
Number 9 is man, a Star Fury from Babylon 5. It looks like a little.
No, I love that ship. I love that ship. As a matter of fact, I had a model of that, the Star Fury, and I was going to 3D print a little itty bitty teddy bear. It was I can't remember what the deal with the teddy bear, but it was somehow it got jettisoned into space, and a guy, and it didn't hit his the windscreen. It was like the very last scene it hit the windscreen on the. So
that's my tie to a ship.
Yeah. That again, that Babylon 5 was such a great series. It 1 to 4, and then that 5th season just kind of fell apart. I mean, and we've heard kind of reasons why. Dr. Macaulay has kind of talked about that too, but it just one of those, they should just left it alone. But anyway, so number 8 on your fighter.
Minbari heavy fighter. The Minbaris.
Yeah, but their ships reminded me of angelfish. Because it was just very long, and
it looked like for a fight, it was like very weird. That would be a fight.
Oh no, the fighter. Yeah, it had those, like, the back end had like those teardrop thingies. It looked more like a very sleek, kind of like a sleek Cadillac or something. Yeah, with the okay. Their capital ships looked like the star angelfish. Okay, so what's your number 7?
My number 7 is X-Wing fighter.
Boy, you're getting the heavy hitters out of the way early. This just really makes me wonder what your 5 through 1 is. Okay, so that was what, your number 6?
Yes.
Okay.
No, X-Wing fighter is number 7.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what's your number 6?
The VF-1 Valkyrie from Macross. It would be a fighter.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. That, let me see.
Macross was like Gundam.
Oh, I know. I know.
Macross is, yeah.
So what's your number 5?
My number 5 is, where is it? Number 5. 6. Oh, Buck Rogers Thunder Fighter.
Okay. So my number 5 is the Robotech Valkyrie.
Oh.
I love it, just for like F-14 to a robot to halfway in between. It's fantastic. I love.
Yeah, I wasn't sure putting that in there. Saying, well, maybe a robot and a fighter, but it's technically a fighter, but it just turns into a robot too, even more.
Right. Well, and the only reason they did that was because the Zentradi was it the Zentradi? Was their enemy?
Yes.
The Zentradi were giants, so we had to have a way to fight them toe to toe. So, yeah. That was an interesting show. I think it started off really strong, and then it got into space, and then it got kind of weird, and it turned into this weird love story, and I'm just like, what are we doing here?
Gundam fan from start to end of the day.
And there's a special that talks about that. It talks about those stories where the story we got was like Macross was like a combination of like 3 different stories that they matched together to make like a storyline. So the origin isn't even really what we got. They made a story of it. So, but yeah, okay, no, hey, I think we're still on the same page. Okay, so we're number 4.
Gunstar. The last TIE Fighter. like the way it doesn't do that thing where it just
The spinny thing. Okay. For
Good
that
stuff.
reason alone, it gets an honorable mention, but it doesn't make it in my top 10. It's a good ship. I think I love the pilot co-pilot interaction, and being able to fire everyone, but that the whole spinny thing in a circle shooting every direction is just a bridge too far. I can't do it.
That'd be like my last voice. Like, I'm 50-1, so beep. Boop, 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 boop.
Well, right.
Take as many as I can.
And for a movie that was heavy CG, it did pretty good. It did pretty good. So my number 4 is the Buck Rogers Thunderfighter.
Okay.
So again, I think I mentioned on the other on IFB, I would really love. I think I've seen somebody like update some stuff online of the Thunderfighter, like flying and shooting. We did the best that we could at the time with the special effects, but I think the special effects. I think that ship probably would do a lot better with the special effects that we have nowadays.
I think so. Modern and maybe redesign it so it would look a little, same thing, but it'd be a little more modern times fighter. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Kind of like what they did with the Viper for the New Galactica.
Yes, but still the same design.
So now you got me thinking about a model.
Yeah.
Okay. I really do like that ship. Okay, so here's a question. You pit the Thunderfighter against the TIE Fighter. They're fairly evenly matched.
Pretty much, but I think the TIE Fighter will win.
Because, what advantage do you think it's got?
The way it turns, the way it can turn more, the way the pivot, like the engine's right behind it, so I said that you can turn more and go up.
A smaller, a tighter turn. Okay, no, that's fair. That's fair argument. Okay. So, number 3. What's your number 3?
Hammerhead from Space Above and Beyond.
I had to learn to fall in love with that ship. I like the way they got into them. Like, they got into the cockpit, and the cockpit lowered down into the. Okay. No, that's fair. My number 3 is the Babylon 5 Star Fury.
Okay.
So, number 2.
This is going back to Cosmo Tiger, space fighter from Yamato. Remember the fighters that would launch from spacecraft?
Okay, is that it's the yellow and black?
Yes.
Or black and yellow? Okay.
Yellow. Sometimes I see the yellow and blue.
Okay. I have never. Was that in the series? Did they show it flying and fighting in the series?
Yes, that was in Yamato.
Okay, I've never seen that series. So I see. Okay, that's what I've been told. It's one of those things that it's so old and so big by now. I'm kind of afraid to start it because I don't know if I'd be overwhelmed.
No, I think it'll be good. It's like it's pretty good. It's you can start it and it'd be fine.
Where would you start? Would you at the very beginning? Is there like okay, you really don't need to worry about this. Start here. Start with this series or whatever that, and you still get the gist of the story. Is there a movie or
start anywhere? I'd start anywhere, but if you want to start from the beginning, you can. I'm always I'm
a completist.
I start from the beginning to the end.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. There was a guy at the Wonderfest that last year that had the battleship model, and it was a 7-foot long 3D print. It was beautiful. Wow. So, and we talked about it a little bit. So okay. That's you and him. It's on the list. It's on the list now. Okay. So, was that your number 2?
No, number 2.
Okay. So my number 2 is the Viper. I love the classic Viper. I think I like the Mark II a little bit better. But what I don't like is the fact that the Mark II has weapons. It's got ammunition that has to be loaded in. I like energy weapons better. So if I could take the energy weapons off the Mark I and put them on the Mark II, I'd be straight. I like the maneuverability. It's just they did a really good job in updating the classic Viper to that. What do you think about the Mark VII Viper? With the really?
I like that. That's my number one, the Colonial Viper, Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, okay, but like the Mark VII,
the revised one for the new series.
Yeah,
I liked it. I like the ship.
The one with the really pointy nose.
Yeah, that was in the second series, right? The revised one. The Mark VII or the Mark. Oh,
that one.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the second series. Yeah. That's the one. It was 2004. I like it. It was different. It was different for me.
It's different.
The whole revised series was kind of different. I had to get used to it, but I did like some of the scenes. I mean, some of the scenes were really tough. The Cylons that are robots and that Cylon was a ship. That was kind of a stretch for me. I wasn't used to that.
So, like, what about? So, did you not like the Scar episode? The episode it was the one Cylon ship that had the Scar. They called him Scar because I think that episode is kind of their version of Red Eye.
That's what I was thinking from Space Above and Beyond. Yep. So that's the ship that was fighting everybody, and the guy Colonel McQueen had to go and fight him because he was killing everybody.
I forgot about that.
Abandon all hope, Orienta, and then he was destroying everything. So McQueen jumped in and fought him, destroyed him, save his crew.
I forgot it. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I guess okay. The thing about that Viper that I guess in the back of my mind makes me go was from the very first episode, the initial attack, when the Cylon put out the signal. It just killed all their electronics, and they were just floating, and they were just cannon fodder.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's probably that right there is probably what threw me off with that Viper. I think it's just a little bit too far removed from the original for me. I mean, I like it. Obviously, I like it because I've got the model kit of it, but
yeah, I think so. The original series, the Vipers are still going around because I remember when O'Donnell was talking to the president and he heard the bang, and the president's like, "Oh, what was the noise?" And he's like, "That was my son. It just got blown up."
Yeah.
At the old school.
that was tough. Well, I mean, because the only reason they had the Mark II is because they were in the museum, So, okay, so my number one is the Jedi Starfighter, the one from like Revenge of the Sith, the one with the split to, I like that. I like that version. The only thing that's a drawback for that for me is the fact that it can't go into hyperspace. You have to use a hyperspace ring. So, but then again, neither. Yeah, well, but an X-wing can. But the X-wing is so common. It's yeah. Anyway, I won't say that. That would be insulting. So, okay. So now we're down to transports. So your top 10, your 10 to 6 on your transports.
Number 10 to 6. The shuttle from Avatar. What was the SSTC TAV? The transport shuttle. It was like a dropship.
Okay.
They dropped the troops in, the guys that turned into the Avatar people.
Oh, from Avatar. Gotcha. No, yeah, okay, yes, I do like those ships. I don't have any ships from Avatar on any of mine. Okay, all right. So I wonder if maybe could I do a top 10 on the fly? Okay. Transport. So that's a troop transport. So transport and shuttle. So if I had to do a number, okay. So for me, I did write number 10. I did start. So my number 10 for transport would be transport or shuttle Raptor. Battlestar Galactica Raptor. I really like that ship. It's because it's you can do so much with it. It can be, they put weapons on it. It runs Dratus. It do it transported people. It's an all around great ship. So I'll give you that. Okay, so that was number 10. So what's your number 9?
I like the dropships in Mass Effect, the game.
I have to look that one up. I've never played.
Same.
Everyone tells me Mass Effect's a great game. I need to play Mass Effect. So for my number 9, I would probably put the Aliens dropship.
Oh, from the movie Aliens, the
Yes.
Marine one.
Yes.
Okay, that was the UD4 Cheyenne dropship from Aliens.
I'm gonna take your word for it.
Yeah, I got that too.
I'm making this up on the fly because I just knowing. Okay, so that would be my 9. So that's dropship. Okay, so what's your number 8?
The shuttle from the original Star Trek with the NC-1701.
Okay, so if I had to choose a number 8, I would say probably the shuttle from Galactica.
Okay. And that was a Raptor, right?
No, just the regular,
the original one, right?
Yeah, the original one. Because again, you talk about original design. It didn't look like anything. So that just gave me my number 7.
Number 7. So was my number 8. Yeah, we put the Raptor.
Okay. Okay, so what's your number 7?
The Raptor.
Oh, your number 7, the Raptor. Okay. So my number 7 would be the pod from Lost in Space.
Oh, all right.
The only
that was going to be a shuttle. I know. How did you make that as a shuttle?
Well, because that's basically what it was. I mean, because the Jupiter 2 stayed in orbit, and then Will and the robot or Dad or whatever would jump in it, and then they would go down to the planet and do stuff, and then they would come back. So that's why I to me that shuttle, it's shuttle adjacent. How about that?
Cool. All right. I can understand.
Okay, so what's your number 6?
Blue Midget from Red Dwarf. Just because it's quirky.
Ooh, see, okay.
Yeah, Blue Midget goes the other one.
I see your Blue Midget, and I counter you, Starbug from Red Dwarf.
All right. Yeah, there was 2 of them.
Yeah, I mean the Starbug, the Starbug was a little bit bigger. The Blue Midget, all I can think of that was the one. I don't know. I think they were in a holographic thing, and Cat was making the Blue Midget dance because it had legs. It was dancing and doing a dance routine. I'm just like, oh my goodness, what are you guys doing?
If I had to see it, everyone has to suffer for it now.
Okay. So I'm gonna have to pull that video up and see if I can find Blue Midget dancing. Starbug. Okay. So number 5.
The shuttle from Mark 1 Battlestar Galactica, the big one. I like
Okay.
that shuttle. I like that one.
Okay. So my number 5 would be fall on the transport side, the Space 1999 Eagle. And again, that ship it's like a switchblade because it can be in it. It was a transport. It was a science space vehicle. It was a cargo vehicle. It just did everything. Didn't work well as a fighter. They put weapons on it in an episode. It's just like, I kind of don't think so.
Yeah, it didn't work for me. Everything else, yeah, but not as a fighter.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your number 4?
The Lucky 13 dropship from Love, Death, and Robots. Remember that episode when they were talking about the dropship and they're just keeping it safe? That was a really cool dropship. On the Netflix series Love, Death, and Robots, you'll see.
Okay. I started watching it. I'm not sure if I got to that episode.
Oh.
Okay, let me write that down. Okay.
I like that. The new series coming out.
It's the Lucky 13 from Love, Death, and Robots, right?
Yep.
I'll look that one up. So that was your number 4. Okay. Mm-hmm. So my number 4 was the Space Academy Seeker.
Oh.
It's got a great design. I like more modern stuff, but I think from back in the day, that was very modern. It was very, very modern, very futuristic, and they used the front end of that was the same as the Arc 2. And since they were all on that live action Saturday morning series on that, I felt like they were both made by the same company. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, they had land vehicles, and hey, let's start making space ships for the space academy.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so what is your number 3?
The Danium class runabout from DS9.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Is that is that the one that with the sensor pod on it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think if I had my choice, that would be the only way that runabout. I don't like it when they took that off. I didn't like it. It didn't look good, and so
it wasn't cool for me.
You're right. So my number 3 is the Eureka Maru from Andromeda.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean,
yeah.
That also was a ship that I could almost live on, but it was a little bit too raggedy.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to survive on that ship.
It's just like there wasn't enough there. I mean, it had weapons. It just and that whole stream thing.
Having in space.
Yeah,
it's like the jalopy of the space aircrafts.
Yeah. Well, okay. When we get to warts and all. Okay. So your number 2 for transport.
UD4 Cheyenne dropship from Aliens.
Okay. All right. So my that was a number 3. Okay, so my number 3 for transports and shuttle is the Star Trek Voyager Delta Flyer.
Okay.
I like the fact that they created that from within the series. It didn't, just like, oh, well, this is what we need. We'll get this. And that's what I think that's probably my favorite Star Trek shuttle. Second favorite Star Trek shuttle. Yeah, I think my favorite would probably have to be the one from the 4th movie that had the little truck that came out of the back of it. I've got the model in the other room. That was
a Rathacon Surface Spock.
It was from Nemesis.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't what? Yeah, it was a different movie. All right. I thought like talking about the original series movies. So
no,
Romulans.
Huh?
Nemesis was the Romulans, right?
Yes, and at the very beginning of the movie, they had gone down to the planet because they couldn't use, I guess they couldn't use transporters, and everything was like a funky hue, and like transporters didn't work, and then like I think hover vehicles or something like that, repulsors or something didn't work, so they had to drive in that off-road badass truck that Picard was driving.
Yeah, I remember them.
It's something
Yeah.
that begins with an A, and I can't remember what. It's going to drive me nuts. Um, so the Delta Flyer. So your number one transport.
The Lambda class T4, the Imperial Space Shuttle. I like it. I fell in love with it in the movie theater. I always liked it.
Really?
Yeah, I liked it. I just,
But
well, like a personal transport, yeah, I liked it because the wings would come up, and
but
if
they're
you're in space, why would the springs have to go out for? You know, there's no movement in air movement in space, but just the way it came down and flew up, I just liked it. Well, because it go down and it's a go in space and also go down on Earth, on planets. So I guess it would have to need those wings that go down.
yeah. Okay, no, that's fair. That's fair. It needs the wings for terrestrial. Okay. I mean, it's your choice. Not my choice. The big wings just throw me off. Those just huge. It's just like, why are they so big? Again, it's got guns on it, but you never see them use it. You never see it in battle, but it can,
It can defend itself.
Okay.
It would probably have like a TIE escort with it because it has it's a personal shuttle. So you're showing on a Darth Vader or the Emperor or somebody who be protected. So
Okay. You know what? I don't have to fly it. So my number one is going to be the runabout. I think much like it's very versatile. That ship could do almost anything, So basically, what I'm saying, yeah, DS9 probably had the best ships between the Defiant and the Runabout. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So on our capital ships, did we? I don't think I got to my number one.
what was your number one capital ships?
Huh?
What was your
What was your number one capital ship?
Star Destroyer?
Okay, so we must have gone off. Well, I must have gone on a tangent because my number one was the Pegasus from okay. See, now I know we didn't talk about it because that ship I think is a beast. It's just the from the New Galactica. It's so much bigger. It's got guns everywhere. It's got pretty much anything. It can handle anything that comes after it.
Except the base star, allegedly.
Well, okay. True. Okay. So now we're down to the three. So warts and all, the ship that you love, regardless of its practicality.
Yeah, the warts and all, I didn't get that much because I didn't. I liked all the ships, so I couldn't really. I only did like 4 or 5 of them.
Okay. So my warts and all ship was the UFO Interceptor. Because from the the TV show UFO, I don't know who designed. I mean, I love the design. I think it looks fantastic. The problem I have with it is it's got one giant torpedo on the nose, and that's it. It flies up, it shoots the torpedo, and it's done. No lasers, no nothing. I'm like, it's so cool. Like to get in it, they run over to the tube and they jump and they slide down the thing, and so apparently they slide into the cockpit, and it's on the platform, like the moon base opens up and they raise up out of under the surface, and then they have the one shot and then they turn around and come back home. What are you doing? What are you doing? So
Well,
it needs weapons. It needs weapons other than that one torpedo. So
I have one. I have a couple of them from the Thunderbirds. The big
oh,
green string ship from the Thunderbirds.
the big cargo ship with the
Yeah, I think it was great.
okay. Yeah.
It's
I
big.
need
It's nice to look at, but it's warts and all. It's too big, but I kind of like it.
okay. No, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, so what about your albatross, the ship that you hate and which never existed?
Oh, Spaceball one.
Really? Okay,
I don't.
but don't you like that movie?
The movie was hilarious. I'm waiting for the remake, but they're making a sequel. But that was pretty funny when it turned into a spaceship. Also, the ET ship is up there too. Like the ET ship.
Okay, no, I will completely. Yeah, well,
ET was my number 2.
okay. See, I don't put. Do you even put ET in science fiction? I
Yeah, he's an alien, but he's the ship isn't never seen. It comes down and lands. You see it, but that was like the ship you don't want to see because the movie you didn't have to see the ship.
yeah. So
It
my albatross is the Nell from Battle Beyond the Stars.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
I did not like the movie at all because I'm sorry, John Boy is no Luke Skywalker. Sorry, it's just I just don't think it was a good movie. I think I watched it one time and I was just like, what? It was late night. It just wasn't a great movie.
Yeah.
So I had a runner up for that for the Albatross. And my runner up is the Naboo Starfighter. The yellow one. I hated that ship. I didn't.
That's the one that Mandalorian uses now.
Okay, so that's the thing. When they updated it, I liked it, but it was too fancy. To me, it was kind of like someone said,
Ferrari.
well, it was like, pardon, would you like to have a spot of war? Yes. Shall we? We shall. What time do you like to tack? I'm just like, it was too fancy. It didn't look like it could do anything.
Like, just a CGI effects and all. That's it.
So anyway,
I think a lot of those movies that George that he made, those 3, I think it was just to exaggerate his CGI and how his company did CGI come out and like Jar Jar Binks. Oh, my ILM is great and blah blah blah. Lucas is like, I just want to exaggerate all my technology and CG effects and everything else. It wasn't more of the story, but I guess he wanted to show it all off. I'm like,
okay. So since you mentioned Jar Jar Binks, did you watch the Clone Wars all the way through? Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you remember the episode where it was? I think it was Jar Jar and Mace Windu. It was an episode where they were. It was like Ambassador Jar Jar or something like that. And I think that's the only thing that gave Jar Jar a little bit of redemption. Maybe that.
Yeah, thinking about that, I'm like, well, I don't know if he can ever be redeemed because that movie was, but yeah, it was closest to it. He was pretty. He wasn't like he was in the movie. He was smart. He was talking more. So yeah, I guess they tried to give him a damage control, but it was already too
late. Hey, I offered the olive branch. It is what it is. Okay. So the number one, the last one, the Traveler, the ship that you would live on and travel the universe.
Oh, the USS Cygnus from the Black Hole movie.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. So my number one was the Millennium Falcon. Okay. Because it was small, compact. It could get me there. It had weapons, blah, blah, blah. Now, the Cygnus was the big ship, right?
Yeah, that was a Max von Sydow ship. It was all like lit up. It looked like a Victorian building with the lights and stuff. You know, it just looks the movie was so cool. You know, that or the Highliner from Dune. The new movie, the big ships that come into hyperspace and go into the planet. Those big long ships.
Yeah.
There's that you could travel the universe in those ships too. But I just like that. I just wanted a little bit of a panache while I travel.
Okay. You know what? Hey, you're the one that has to fly around the galaxy in that ship, not me.
Something like those ships you can use like a small crew or like a robot crew. So I figured.
Right. No, we had that conversation. I think that was the kind of the coolest thing with you and I going back and forth trying to figure out this form of, well, no, that won't work. No, we can't do that.
I'm like, I always like the ship. I'm like, well, what if the crew was alive, but now they're robot zombies? They can still run the ship. You don't have to feed them or anything. So
Right. Well, okay, but again, that's kind of like with the Andromeda.
Yeah.
It's big, but there were robots running around it to keep it kind of running too. So yeah. That's fair. It's just I don't know why that movie just never resonated. It's not high on my It's not high on my sci-fi list because of action. I mean, there's action in there. I think that what was it the big bad Maximilian robot. I mean, I think that robot was terrifying. I think the other robots. I think there was a little bit too much comedy in there for me. It was just it was kind of goofy.
Talking like a cowboy, like, hey, you know,
Yes.
I'm like, no, you're in a space thing. Why do you put that in there for?
Well, okay, but you could make that same argument about Firefly. Because when it first came, I did not watch it in its first run through because I think I watched the opening credit song and it was, you know, save my life, save my land. You know, it was just this is supposed to be a sci-fi show.
That's what I do when I first saw it. I saw the beginning of it, the music and everything. I'm just like, click.
Right. So, okay, but see, obviously you watched it. What got you into it? What made you go back and watch it?
I heard a lot about it. I saw the comments coming out, people talking about it. So I said, okay, let me put it on and watch it. Let me see what's going on with it. So yeah, okay, I watched it and I was like, all right, it wasn't that bad. People were like too overhyped.
Oh, okay. So for me, my buddy, uh, we went to see the movie Serenity, and he's just like, "Hey, I want to go see this movie." Um, I think he might have seen the series, but okay. So, but Serenity came about. If didn't it, wasn't it like the fans brought it back? And that's why they made the movie.
Set it up. I haven't seen Serenity yet. I've only seen the series.
You haven't seen? Oh, dude.
I didn't see it. I have to get on my list. I have it.
Watch it tonight. It's a really good, especially if you like Nathan Fillion. He's so funny. I think that movie has a little bit of everything. And like I said, it jumped me into Farscape without knowing anything else about the series. Yeah. And so after I watched the movie, I was just so blown away. I'm just like, and I went back and watched the series after it, and it was just fantastic.
Fillion's doing real great in the MCU. He's going to be it's going to be Hal Jordan in Superman movie, the upcoming soon.
But he's playing Guy Gardner.
Guy Gardner, yeah,
and so
Guy Gardner is the turkey one. He looks just like him, the haircut and everything.
I've seen pictures. I don't know anything about it, but nobody likes Guy Gardner, right?
He's a good one. You know, the movie I want to look for is coming to HBO. I think like next year, Lanterns. It's with Hal Jordan and who's the other guy? The one I like.
Live action?
Yeah, there's a series. It's going to be called Lanterns. It's going to be based on, you know how True Detective is?
Mm-hmm.
There'll be two lanterns come to Earth to investigate a murder, and they're going to film it like True Detective. It's Hal Jordan
series.
Yes, it's coming on Max. It's going to be next year, beginning in 2026.
Dude, I'm telling you, we are living in a king's ransom.
And John Stewart's the best lantern there.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree.
There's a storyline, his background, his military. Okay.
Right. So what you're saying is you could be a lantern.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I might not be a good lantern, but
well, okay, yeah. You got to learn somehow. You got to learn okay. So while we're talking about things, what do you think about Fantastic Four? The previews for that.
Well, I do like the Easter eggs. When you see the preview for it, you see. I don't think the guy Reed Richards is the same Reed Richards for a different universe. I think he's going to get zapped out of his universe because when you see the beginning, it looks different. He's going to go into that.
Yeah.
He's doing the computations, and his wormhole. He's going to go back to the other land and fall in love and stuff like that. It's going to be a different world. Because you see Galactor is different from his timeline. I think that's how he's going to put into the Shadow Wars because they had to redo all that their storyline because the Kang thing tanked.
Right. Right.
Shadow Wars. So that's going to start the Shadow Wars series. But the only thing that gets me is the voice of the thing. You know, like he's cooking. Oh, that's right. I'm like, oh.
So what don't you like about it? Should it be more gravelly? Should it have more accent?
A little more tough or a little gravelly because the comic book character, well, people go by the voice in the old series, but the comic book character, he was a little tougher guy, you know. It just
You got right.
It was just one scene threw me off. I don't know, but the series is going to be a really good movie. I think it's going to be really good. So I'm looking forward to it.
I like the fact that it's kind of like. Did you watch Fallout?
Yes, I did.
So, yes, I don't know anything about. I've never played the game. I liked that universe, and I feel like that Fantastic Four is the same kind of universe where it's like the 50s that got modernized, and it just I love the fact that they've kind of they break it away from what we're living now, like with the current modern Marvel movies, where it's could be happening today, and that's from a era that we never saw. So
this movie is going to redeem all the other Fantastic Four movies, even the one that never came out. That was so
good. Dude, no. The one like the one from the 80s. That I've seen bits and pieces of that.
It was bad. Well, I hope this gets to redeem it. Even the new Silver Surfer is a female from the old comic book story. So I was a Silver Surfer's lover. If you see the new preview for it, you see her in there.
I haven't seen like I said, I try and keep my viewing very narrow because I want it to be I want every moment of that in the theater to be a surprise. So I haven't seen Brave New World yet. I've been waiting for it to come out on for streaming. So I haven't watched it yet. So, but my grandson saw it and he said he loved it. So,
I haven't seen it either. So I'm waiting for that to come out too.
Okay, well, you want to go see it together? We can go tonight. Man, this has been so much fun.
I was. Thank you.
So I tell you what we need to do is we need to sit down and talk about some. Maybe we'll talk about Andor after the series goes on, or maybe we can figure out a way to we can maybe talk about the episodes or something like that. It just whatever you think. We'll talk offline. But
but Tuesday is coming on. All with the Empire.
Yeah, we're gonna fight. Okay. Well, thank you for coming in and coming on. Well, when are you next on IFB?
I'm on not this week, the following week.
Okay.
I got some good stuff coming.
Okay, I look forward to seeing it. Okay, and so for Medium Bore, this has been the Mediocre Modeler and John 1, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, everybody, for having me. Have a good night. Thank you, Mediocre Modeler. Anytime. Long live the Empire.
We're fighting, man. We're fighting. I'm telling you.
pew pew.